#1 on the Intelligence Index, a perfect score at the International Mathematical Olympiad. And yet, the people who use it every day say they hate working with it. This is Claude Opus 5, the most contradictory model of 2026. Let's break it down.
Claude Opus 5 is Anthropic's newest flagship workhorse, released on July 24th, 2026. It sits in the Opus tier, right below the frontier model Claude Fable 5 and above Sonnet 5. Anthropic's pitch is simple, close to Fable-level intelligence at half the price.
The model ID is Claude Opus 5, with a knowledge cutoff of May 2026. It is the default model on Claude Max, and the strongest model available on Claude Pro.
Here is the spec sheet. 1 million tokens of context, the default and the maximum. 128,000 tokens of output, or 300,000 on the batch API. It reads text and images and writes text.
That the headline change is adaptive thinking, now on by default. The model decides when and how much to reason. 5 effort levels from low to max control how hard it works. Prompt caching now starts at just 512 tokens. Structured outputs, tool use, and streaming are all supported.
Now the numbers are staggering. Anthropic reports 96% on SWE-bench verified. On SWE-bench Pro, real-world engineering, 79.2%. On Frontier Bench, end-to-end agent tasks, 43.3%, more than double the 21% of Opus 4.8.
On Arc AGI 3, novel problem solving, 30.2%, roughly 4 times the best previously reported score. On Automation Bench, business workflow automation, 26%, against 18.1 for the nearest rival. And at the 2026 International Mathematical Olympiad, it scored a perfect 42 out of 42.
No tools, no agent harness.
But look closer and the curve bends. Independent tracker artificial analysis ranks Opus 5 number 1 of 190 models, with an intelligence index of 61. Yet the same tracker measures a first token wait of 68 seconds at max effort, 24 times the class median.
And page 151 of Anthropic's own system card shows something strange. Coding scores fall above medium effort. Why? At higher effort, the model makes more changes than the task requires, and graders penalize it. It is not getting dumber. It is getting more ambitious.
103 turns per task at max effort against 55 for its predecessor.
Now the money. Opus 5 costs $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output. The same price as Opus 4.8. Cache reads cost just 50 cents per million tokens, a 90% discount. Batch processing cuts everything in half.
Do the math? A simple call of 1,000 tokens in and 500 out costs about 1.75 cents. That is, 57 calls for $1. But a real-world agent step, 60,000 input tokens and 10,000 output, costs around 54 cents.
Less than 2 steps per dollar. And the catch, the new tokenizer counts up to 35% more tokens, and thinking tokens now bill as output. The price stayed flat. Your invoice may not.
Stack it against the field. Claude Fable 5 costs double, $10 in, 50 out, and Opus 5 lands within 0.5% of its cursor bench score.
GPT 5.6 Sol beats it on recall and code review, catching 69.7% of known issues against Opus 5's 55.2, but its comments are less precise.
Claude Sonnet 5, at $2 in and 10 out during its introductory period, is the faster pick for latency-sensitive chat. Same family, same lab, different jobs. Opus 5's lane is long, hard, autonomous work where it leads everyone.
So the split, where Opus 5 wins agents by a landslide. Frontier Bench up 22 points over its predecessor. Automation Bench at 26%, first place at its cheapest setting. Prompt injection resistance, 2% attacker success against 20% for GPT 5.6 Sol.
Where it loses, Hallucination rate rose 14 points to 50% on closed book facts. Code review recall dropped, and it produces 4 times as many nitpicks. And at max effort, it costs more per task than the model it replaced. Brilliant, but not free.
Who should run it? If you build long-running agents, repository-scale coding, or multi-day knowledge work, this is the current value champion. Start at high effort, not max. Remove instructions like include a final verification step because the model now verifies on its own.
Cache every system prompt over 512 tokens, and for code review, pair it with a recall-oriented model. If you need quick chat or real-time answers, use Sonnet 5 or Haiku. 68 seconds of silence is a deal breaker in a chat window. Match the model to the task shape.
What do real users say? Clairvaux ranked it first in a blind taste test and still said she hates working with it. Every magazine called it brilliant in flashes, frustrating in practice. On Reddit, one developer said the result is probably better, but they wanted to punch the model.
The consensus. The ceiling is the highest on the market. The daily friction is real.
Claude Opus 5, half the price of Fable. #1 on the intelligence index, the hardest model to love. Next up, we break down Claude Sonnet 5. Subscribe so you do not miss it.